in 3.
Welcome to a special edition of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. I am your host, Jesse Martin. I am here with my co-pilot, Keith Gray, and we have a very, very special guest with us in the house, Joey Colby-Begovich from the Washington football team. How you doing? Thanks for coming on, my man.
Thank you very much, Jesse. Not many people describe me as special, except maybe my mother. So
you're special to us. That's for sure.
I appreciate the introduction. And I actually feel like I am in the presence of like Washington football fan celebrity Keith Gray. Having just
you got that right. That's for
named
sure.
A member of our fan ambassador network. I'm really excited. I actually was following Keith on Twitter yesterday because I wanted to see his reaction.
He didn't know.
I know.
Later on.
It was actually hilarious. Keith, I almost sent you an email, like check your spam folder, but you figured it out. So
yeah. I figured it out. And then, you know, of course, like I do, I just made it a big ordeal. And, you know, because it was funny because at 2:30, you know, and I, you know, Rio and a couple people reached out and they're like, hey, I got in. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep this humble because I haven't seen an email come through. So I'm like, congratulations, you deserve it. And I'm over here checking my email and I'm like, oh no,
I haven't got to tell he was getting a little sad too. You could.
But once I checked the junk email and I saw it, I'm like, okay, I'm running with this one. No, listen, the whole Twitter or the celebrity, I don't know about that, but I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's in store for this. And thank you so much for selecting me and being a part of this program. You know, it's kind of like what I've said in the past, Joey, is, you know, after things had changed with this organization, I kind of felt distant. And this is an opportunity to bring me right back in and be involved in, you know, with this. So I'm excited and I can't wait.
It's the whole goal. The whole goal of standing this up is just that, Keith, is to become more centered around our fans, right? Everything that we do should be with our fans at the forefront of our mind. And this is one of 100 things that we've dreamed up, right? To make that happen. And our fan ambassador network is going to help us dream up even more things that are going to help make that happen. So we're so excited. We cannot be more excited.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I've noticed, you know, on Twitter, and like we were talking about earlier, is there seems to be some confusion, and a lot of it has to do is because we just simply don't read. We're so triggered at reading 140 characters that anything after that. And quick story, Joey, and I'm going to make myself vulnerable here, but I had received the email, you know, with, talking about coming on the show. And I didn't even see that part. I just started reading this event and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in there. So I started calling everybody and I'm like, I even called Jesse and I'm like, I'm going to this June 14th event. I'm going to be sitting in between Joey and Doug Williams eating some fancy food, which is weird because I have a palate of a 9-year-old.
He does. And chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese.
I even wanted to drive to my father's grave and just be like, Dad, you're not going to believe this, but I'm eating some dinner with Doug Williams. But then sadly, I further read on and I'm like, oh no, this is just the talk on our podcast. So yeah, it is what it is. Learning experience. So make sure that I read more than 140 characters next time. But go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say I actually get slapped on the wrist a lot because I write very long emails. I want to get a lot of detail in there, and then people always tell me I stopped reading your email after the second paragraph. You know, like that's the way we're programmed now. We're programmed like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I even told my wife, and she's an Eagles fan, so she was unimpressed anyway. So no big deal there. But
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, that's a long story. He doesn't have time for that, but. You know, Joey, can you kind of just give a brief description of these categories and what the fan ambassadors, you know, are going to be doing this year, since, you know, we kind of are the, a small voice of the fan base out there?
Yeah. So I think maybe describing like Fan Ambassador Network in general. So we have 7 sort of tent poles, which are these 7 categories that we are hyper focused on to bring the team back to the fans, right? And so football is football. Like football is always there, but it's not just about the game of football. It's not just about what's happening on the field. It's about everything that happens around the field. And here's the thing, our fans have been loyal through thick and through thin. And you know this, there's been a lot of thin in the past, right? Mm-hmm. So that's going to happen. That loyalty is there. Where we lost people over the years, and you're in this group, Keith, and we talked about this during your Fan Ambassador Network, is all of the things that surround football, the stadium experience, how the team communicates with fans outside of that. So bringing that all back to the fans, we identified these 7 categories. Just to get more specific about each of the categories or what we're going to do with the fan ambassadors, now that we have these 7 groups, different players in our organization, I shouldn't say players, different business partners in our organization, right, that are working on these ideas, are going to be presenting ideas in a quarterly meeting to these groups, receiving their feedback, and at the same time, hoping that these groups are getting all of the feedback from their social networks and their friends and families and bringing it to the table so that we're having a conversation and not just everybody reading things from press releases, right? Which is the way things were done in the past. We'll still be sending out press releases, but we will have input from the fans. So we have the community group, right? Community is so important to us. The DMV, those people that are here, it's unlike any other region that has an NFL team associated with it. You got Maryland, you have Virginia, you have the district, right? And there's a lot of community outreach that the team is doing, and we want to be better informed about the community outreach that we should be doing. Culture. I actually was surprised about the culture group, if I could just say. It was one of our least nominated categories, but there is such a history of tradition and ritual with this team. How do we preserve that history while also turning the page and creating new culture, history, tradition, and rituals for whatever our new brand of the team will be? The culinary group, very obvious, right?
Yeah. That's the one I knew I wasn't getting in.
Yeah. Sunday Fun Day group is people revolve their weekends or their day around their favorite football team, right? And it's not just here in the DMV, but it's fans of the team elsewhere. How do we reach those fans that are planning their whole Sunday barbecue around their friends and family coming over to their house and watching the game? At the same respect, those same people are doing it here at FedEx Field, where I'm sitting now, coming early in the morning when parking lots opening and starting their tailgates experience. How do we elevate that experience for everybody on a football game? The family group, we had a real lack of focus on families. During the fan interviews, the amount of people that talked to me about their experience of becoming a fan started as a child because of multi-generational fans, their father, their mother, their grandfather. How do we start that again, right? We've lost a little bit about that. And so it's some about reaching out to families and creating experiences for families in the stadium, but also helping people create fans for a lifetime. So I'm really excited about that group. I feel like I'm missing one. Community, culture, culinary, Sunday Fun Day, family. Let me open my cheat sheet.
That's all right. You're good. You're good.
I'm missing one that Victoria Rossi, who's the director of guest experiences, she works on my team. She would kill me for missing this one. Is the fashion category, right? How people wear.
I can't believe I forgot that.
This team on merchandise and logo.
There's some bones to be picked about some of the merchandise that has been presented lately. So hopefully we got some good fashion-minded people that are on that to rectify that situation pretty fast.
Yeah, and so having people inform that, and the thing about fashion is like, and especially like team sports gear, is there's not just one market, right? It's not just, gym shorts and t-shirts and jerseys, right? We have diehard fans that are women, that are kids, right?
Absolutely.
And, we need to create lines of merchandise where people can be proud and want to wear Washington football team gear. that appeal to everybody. And we need to focus on that. We have a ton of ideas. That group is going to be busy. If you want to talk about merchandise, sometime you should have Victoria Rossi on your podcast.
Sure.
She's new to our team and she is running with this merchandise idea. But that's what all the teams are going to be focused on, and bringing the fan perspective, right? The fan is sitting at the table in the boardroom. The fan is saying, this is our perspective. And that's what the Fan Ambassador Network is.
And I love the idea that even though there's selection, there's person representing the categories or multiple, I don't know how that works, but the fact that we can actually reach out on social media to people who we talk to every day and actually get their input, and even when this Fan Ambassador, program was announced, that was one of the things that I thought of is I could definitely take down some notes from a lot of people who, do talk to me and, have input. And I can also turn it around to where they can have a voice too. And I think that that's what they need to understand. I just haven't talked about it yet, but like Jesse, he's not a part of the program, but I would like him to have a voice. So
absolutely,
he's going to now come to Mr. Ambassador. Right. And
is that what we have to refer to you now as?
That's
I did create my
own.
Yeah, I did create my own 2-minute movie trailer. Mr.
He
Ambassador
did
Man.
too. Did you see that? It was really well done, but it was.
Wait, I haven't seen this yet. It's on Twitter.
You got to send it. You got to send it.
Okay,
it's horrible, but
it's hilarious.
It's fun, and that's the way that I liked it. So, because I was, saying if I'm brand ambassador, man, get ready, but. All jokes aside, being able to take notes and people know that I'm taking their ideas and, giving it to you guys to be able to discuss, all these different categories, they're going to love that in return. I just think that they needed to understand that that's what the purpose of this was.
Absolutely. I mean, and part of the reason why we picked people that we did, Keith, one of my intentions in interviewing every single semifinalist was to know that person had a network where people were feeding them those things, right? Yeah. We didn't want just these 5 or 6 people in each group's opinions. We wanted to make sure they were representing a diverse group of people in the family.
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad we could clear that up because I think that was the biggest, major confusion. So now when we go out there, we can definitely talk to these guys and they love giving their opinions. Yeah. So I'm going to be busy writing stuff down, and when it comes time to report to you guys, I can't wait. So
I want to hear it all.
Absolutely. Well, that leads us into our next topic that we want to discuss, which is coming up very soon here, June 14th. I know that there was a deadline, for vendors to send in their applications and, you got to get on other podcasts like the Burgundy Zone and Rio's podcast, which was awesome. So that information was able to get out. But since we're past the deadline, what's going on June 14th and what can we expect?
I'm just waving goodbye to my boss.
Oh, you're good.
Which is that Jason?
Jason. Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, Mr. Wright.
He waved through my office window.
He got on Keith last week. We did a little bit of a bit. He retweeted him. Keith pretended that he was Jason Wright, and it was funny.
Yeah, I impersonated him, and I didn't know how it was gonna go, but I think it went
he
well,
liked it.
So.
He liked it.
I'm sure he loved it.
So I was a little nervous. That's why I was like, "Hi, Mr. Wright." But anyways, so what do we have going on June 14th?
Yeah. So flavors of the DMV Showcase. So one of our these tent pole sort of laser focus is food and beverage in the stadium, right? Or food and beverage in general, but just food and beverage in the stadium, and getting more local flavors that represent the DMV as a part of our game day experience. And so with our concession partner, Levy, we cooked up this idea we call Flavors of the DMV Showcase. We invited local restaurants, food trucks, food producers, anything local that had to do with food could submit an application to showcase their items in a one-day event that then we would have tasters and judges come around for an opportunity for them to be showcased in the stadium and represent the DMV as a part of the Washington football team and our game day experience. And so deadline was yesterday, last night, for submissions. We have a ton of submissions, great submissions. I think we're over 30 submissions. We're probably going to invite anywhere between 15 and 20 of them to actually showcase.
Wow.
And then our hope is that we will pick, we haven't put a number on how we could pick all of them, right? If we love all of them, but we want to get a handful of these local flavors in the DMV, locally small businesses that were started here, so that everybody can experience, what we have to offer, especially fans of opposing teams, like come to the DMV, and taste the DMV right here in FedEx Field.
Yep.
We could not be more excited. Speaking of fan, we're inviting our community and our culinary groups to be tasters and judges during this. There's going to be some local media personalities. There's going to be some Washington football team alumni that are going to be here. And then there's going to be some other possible well-known folks that we are in the process of confirming at this time that are going to help us make these selections. But we're really excited. Should be a really fun event. It's only going to be a couple hours in the morning on June 14th. And it's going to be a lot of food. So
it sounds like a good time. I think you should just put them in a ring and let them joust it out and pick the
like a food fight.
Ultimate
food fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's super awesome. Like I said, since I'm, not a part of the culinary version, you got to bring Doug Williams everywhere you go now. So for all the categories, he has to be involved if he comes.
Doug is going to be there, but you are in the community group, Keith, so you will get an invitation to come. So we're both of those groups.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But don't get him to vote on any food. I'm telling you right now, his palate's nothing but chicken nuggets, dinosaur chicken nuggets, and maybe some macaroni and cheese and Miracle Whip, and that's about it. I mean, he won't eat anything else.
Listen, I'm going to enjoy eating fancy food. You can count me in. I will be there. I am super excited.
I'm excited. I'm excited to meet you face to face, Keith. So
I'm a little surprised at that. I'm going to be smiling the whole time that I'm there. I don't know. This is just absolutely amazing. The opportunity is just, it's mind blowing, to be honest. I'm still wrapping my head around this, but like I said, after I get all the gigglies out of me, I can't wait. I can't wait to get in. So, again, Joey, thank you so much for selecting me, and thank you so much for coming on the show and really kind of clarifying what's going on. And, we'll be happy to be the voices out there to get some clarifications, and we can't wait. This is going to be exciting.
Anytime. I see my role at the team to be an advocate for the fans. And so whatever I can do, I want to be doing, right? I want to spend my days listening to fans and following folks on social media. We're doing Fan Ambassador Network. There's going to be more opportunities for other fans to be engaged in other ways. And
that is really cool.
That is what is going to continue to inform the way that I'm doing my job. So that's why I'm here. So anytime.
Well, you guys are doing an amazing job from the start. I can tell you just, being out in the Twitter world, a lot of people see the changes and know that there's still work being put in, and it's only going to continue to get better. We are super excited for everything that's in store for us.
Yeah, me too. I was actually just talking to Dave Baldwin, who's our brand new chief ticketing officer, and him and I were just talking about, we're going to have these great things happening, what we're all calling, because we're all new, like year one.
Yeah.
But what we were really excited about is building momentum to year two and future seasons, and through a new identity and then a new stadium. I mean, the amount of excitement and motivation is palpable.
Well, you might be a rookie this year, but you're a part of the family now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that.
And listen,
as of Tuesday, I am official resident of the DMV. So
nice,
there you go.
Nice. Congratulations. Okay. Welcome to the DMV. Listen, Joey, anytime that you got something that you want to get out to the fans, you are more than welcome. Just message me or Keith, and we will bring you on the show at any time.
And by the way, Shannon was absolutely wonderful.
She was. You know, you said it in the beginning about the fan experience. It's for the fans, the merchandise, the food. You know, without the fans, there wouldn't be much of a team. Yeah. And we, especially the diehard ones, like myself and Keith, that's been through everything from thick and thin through this team, that are still here, that are still pulling for this team, that want those better fan experiences, that want to be able to drive up to the stadium, that live 2, 3, 4, 5 hours away. It was growing hard to keep doing that all the time, you know, and now there's a buzz in the air. We see those changes that have, for one, already been made, but people like you coming on a podcast like ours, and I know you've been on other podcasts as well, and explaining and throwing those ideas out there and what you guys are doing, and I can't wait for the future, man. I really can't. It kind of gives me chills, and just thinking about that there's a new stadium on the horizon. And I got to tell you, FedEx Field isn't the easiest stadium to go to as a fan. Got to tell you, got to be honest with you.
I know.
So it's really exciting from a fan perspective to see everything that you guys are doing over there. And you know, from a diehard, it seems like you're doing a really good job, man. So kudos.
Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate that. We're not going to stop working here for all of the fans. Yeah. It's good. You couldn't have summed it up better, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And excuse my background. I'm in my son's room, and he doesn't like to clean, so that's just
all right, Joey. Well, listen, we'll let you get going. We know you're a busy man. You got some awesome decisions
to work.
Make, so yes, you're on the clock, sir. You got to get going.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you,
we really enjoyed
this was great.
Absolutely. Have a good day, sir.
Okay, bye.
Joey Colby-Begovich, everyone. We like to thank him again for coming on. You know, Keith, I think I'm excited to come back to the stadium. I don't know about you.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you know, listen, you know, for the past few years, I mean, I was only going to 1 game, 2 games at that, you know, and a lot of it had to do financially, you know, I wasn't in a house yet, you know, so I'm not going to put it all on the team. Like, they're the reasons why I wasn't coming to games, but you know, I did my best, but there also wasn't any extra motivation for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because I always had the money that I could put aside if I wanted to, you know, but my decision was easy because it was like, why bother? You know, what am I going to do? I'm just going to go sit there and, you know, watch the team lose. You know, you don't hope for that, but you know, that's what was ending up happening. And, you know, it just, I think for many years, Jesse, we weren't connected to the team.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So it kind of just felt like, yep, here's the money. We're going to watch entertainment and then we're going to go home. But now when you can be a part of the entertainment, even when it's not football related, like, you know, neither you and I are getting out on the 50 tossing balls.
That's true.
You know, but you know, we can be involved in other ways. And the team is now reaching out and doing that with the fans. And to be honest, like, this is the first step. And I mean, you have to give kudos to Jason Wright.
Absolutely. 100%.
Because he's the one that started this, you know. Now, who came up with the ideas or, you know, why he chose to hire who he did. But at the end of the day, he's hiring the right people. And you can see that when, you know, you have Joey, who is taking, you know, 20 minutes of his time to come on, you know, our podcast where only our 2 cousins and, you know, sister-in-law listens to, you know what I mean? So, I think, just like I said, when it boils down to it, is everyone is seeing the change. And
absolutely.
Now with this, we have some clarification with the fan ambassador group to where, you know, people were sending me tweets and saying, tell them that you want the name to be Warriors. Like, did you even read what these are?
That's not what it's about. You know?
I'm sorry, they're not letting Joe Blow, Keith Gray, you know, decide on a team name. That's not what this was for. And so we got the opportunity on today's show to talk to Joey and him to be able to clarify. So I couldn't be more happy about that. So once people listen to the show and we are, you know, get out there and we tweet, maybe not you, but me, you know, tweet and just let people know, like, hey, I want your voice. Let me know. I'll write some stuff down. I'll turn in, even if it's things that I'm not interested in, that I personally wouldn't care about. At the end of the day, it's not just my voice, it's theirs too. We're just representatives of the voice. And I really wanted him to clarify that. So, we can, get going and get moving. I'm excited to see what the next step is, and, kind of go from there. So super cool, man. It really is.
Yeah. It is cool. And, the accessibility of the front office of the Washington football team is kind of mind blowing from where they were just 2 years ago. Julie being accessible, like you said, Jason Wright's even accessible. Now Joey's coming on to our little podcast,
and they're accessible to everyone.
Yeah, it's
not
just it's just not just not if you have 1,000 followers or more. They will talk to you. Don't
you
be
could
afraid
have 20
to reach out. Yeah,
you can have 20 followers. They don't
be afraid. Don't be afraid to reach out. If you have something on your mind, reach out to them. They most of the time now, they are very, very busy people, but they
keep it limited.
More times than not, if it's something that is on your mind, and if it's something not stupid, they read these tweets. They absolutely do. And I think that is a big reason why there's such a big, other than Juan Rivera and resemblance of starting to build a decent team, but there's other things than just play on the field.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think it's great. It really is great.
I mean, if you can take me, okay, talk to me whenever the name change was announced, I was an angry guy.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't know what direction I was going in at this point, because again, it's not just about players playing on the field. It's about, and you heard him say too, kids, I got it from my dad. I became a fan because of, my grandpa, things like that. So, I was an angry guy, and I felt completely distant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, I became a Redskins fan because of my dad. Well, my dad's no longer here, and neither is the name. So what do I have left? Yeah. Right. But now you've got some, high level folks, in the organization that are not only reaching out to me, reaching out to other people. And they found a way to, I guess, have this lost puppy dog in myself, find my way back, to where I probably could start wearing the same hat that you got on now.
Yeah.
And be okay with it, because at the end of the day, I'm now involved into something that I never could have dreamed of a year ago.
Yeah.
Whether it's fan ambassador program, whether it's just the opportunity, even if I didn't get selected, I wouldn't have been mad at anyone. Hey, listen, there's a lot of deserving people that wanted to be a part of that, but just to have the opportunity and for these guys to, I don't know, like I said, just talk to us. That's just what we needed. We needed that reconnection again, and they're providing that opportunity. So I couldn't be excited, not only for me, but for you and for a lot of other people that, like you said, absolutely, have sat through thick and thin. And we've seen a lot of bad more than we have good. And now that we've got some excitement turning around, man, you might get me on board with this new name change. And, I might look at it in a different, direction, a more positive direction. At least I have been, for a little while now. So
yeah. I mean,
I'm excited. And listen, it's why I bought season tickets. I'll be honest.
Absolutely.
Not the fan ambassador program, but just the fact that I no longer feel distant from the team made me actually feel like this is a way to get me closer. Yeah. Just in all experiences, but more for the entertainment of watching the game that I love, that I've been watching my whole life. So,
in years past, I mean, I'd go to it, I'd try to go to as many games as I could, but it got to a point now where, I'd only would go to one, maybe two. And the reason behind that is why am I going to shell out $300, $400, $500 on a weekend to DC just to be disappointed, and you pointed that out, earlier on. But now, you're a little bit more willing to put that money out there. One question I did want to ask him, but I thought I thought against it was as the prices of food and beverages there. And I don't know if that's something he'd have control over. A lot of teams, it's expensive, for beer and food, but there are teams nowadays that are charging less. The Atlanta Falcons is included. I think that would be a game changer as far as more people would actually buy food at the stadium, to be honest with you. And I think if you fill those seats up, you could charge less for the fucking food, and seats are going to get filled up more with Washington football fans rather than in years past.
Well, I can't tell you during the interview that was mentioned, so I don't want to say that I know that he has control of that, but it's a topic that's in the back of their minds.
That's good. I'm glad
there's awareness. There's awareness to a lot of things that, again, it was brought up, but don't necessarily know when, how, why, or where, but it's definitely in the back of their minds at least. And I think, just knowing that in general is better than not knowing anything at all. And that just goes with this whole experience. Is you got folks out there that are being transparent to what they're doing, the ideas behind it, the whys, and they're really selling it, and we're buying it all up because, man, we've been desperate for years to where, like I said, there's been a complete disconnect between fan versus team, and a lot of it sure is because we were losing. When you win, you don't really care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're a season ticket holder, you've already invested, a good decent amount of money.
Yeah.
So now when you've invested that money, you also want great experiences to come along with that. And, that's what they're currently doing right now, which has not been happening in the past. And again, we're going to eat it up because it's something different than folks have seen. And I think it's a phenomenal idea that they're wanting to stay with the DMV staple, so that way when hopefully we don't have too many visitors coming out of town into FedEx, but the ones who are there can actually taste the food and know what, the DMV is all about.
Yeah.
Which I personally can't speak on because I don't live there, but I can tell you if I went over to the Link in Philly, they're going to have some of the best cheesesteak joints in that stadium. And it's because they want people to know that that's what their staple is. That's what they're famous for. So, man, in the end, like I said, I think it's all going to come, all come together. And, I think what fans also need to do, though, is temper the expectations of timing.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of this is going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight.
And, I think I kind of hope they save the big things for the new stadium. That's,
agreed.
You know what I mean? It just maybe filter some stuff in, make the fan experience at FedEx Field just better than what it is right now. And then come when this new stadium is, it's got to be state of the art. I mean, we already know Jason and Dan have been going to other countries to look at stadiums. So I have a feeling it's going to probably be the most expensive stadium ever built because that's just what Dan does. And I don't think anything is going to get in the way of that. But the only drawback is pricing going to go up? That's kind of the thing that you might have to deal with,
It may. But then again, I also think that there's a leadership team that is going to keep pressing that issue, and they're going to find a balance.
Yeah, because the NFL, they're going to make their money. Dan Snyder's going to make his money. They do profit sharing. It's not like he's going to lose anything. But I just think Dan wants the biggest thing in the for biggest thing in the world,
any owner would.
And it's going to be the new stadium on the block, and he's going to just pull out all the punches for it, and I can't wait, to tell you the truth. And I hope they're going to do it right. I have confidence that the people that are in charge right now are understand what's happened over the past 20 years and why attendance is down, because it doesn't always have to do with the play on the field. Yes, that's the 95% of the reason, but there is another 5% that the fans, you have a better experience watching at home on TV.
Yeah, no, that's actually a huge valid point. I mean, like I said, I've been actually, the last game that I attended was the last game the Redskins played the Cowboys. And I actually got on field for that game. Got lucky. We were just, we were standing by our seats, lower bowl. A couple came up and said, "Hey, do you want these passes?" And absolutely, I'm not turning that down. So we got on field, and again, just that experience alone, even if we would have lost the game, which I'm thankful we didn't, but even if we would have lost, having that experience alone, being able to shake hands with Clinton Portis was super cool. Chris Baker was on the field, able to talk to him for a quick minute. Just those experiences alone, not a lot of people get to actually, experience. So, there's a lot of things that can be done. I personally have never cared about stadium stuff, only because most of the time I'm standing or sitting in my seat anyways. But the pregame or after game, man, there's so much that you could do with that for fans to be involved in, to say that they've done, before. So there's just a lot of ideas. And, of course, all of this is, after what we can do after COVID. I know things are a little shaky right now, but as things are opening up, it's going to open up the door for many different things that they can do. Off the top of my head, I was actually talking to my wife earlier, and she brought up an amazing, thing. Is one of the things is, do we even have any like kids programs, kids club? For
we don't. I don't think we do.
No. And I mean, she does for the Eagles, because she pays for my son, to get stuff, and he gets stuff in the mail all the time. And even though it pains me and I want to stab my eyes out when I see that he's excited about Eagle stuff, the fact that he's just getting stuff, he's super excited for. So, that's cool. Again, it's how can we bring our future into the game?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
These kids are it. And I think that that's super important. So anyways, well, Jesse, I guess we can wrap this up, man. Like I said, thanks for hopping on short notice.
Man, it was fun. It was informative. And I had a good time. It was nice to meet, someone in the front office, and it was good stuff, man. Good stuff.
I'm just glad I don't have to go back to my dad's grave and take back what I said. I can actually go sit down with Doug Williams now.
There you go.
I'm gonna eat some fancy foods. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'll take pictures, and I'm gonna brag about it on Twitter, and then of course, I'm not going to say anything negative, because that would just be, rude of me. But I don't know, man. Fancy food. This is going to be different for me. So
you might want to take some Pepto or something. Your tummy might get upset.
All right, man. Well, listen, I'll let you get going. Great show, and I'll talk with you later, man.
Yeah, you have been listening to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. You can catch us on YouTube, Google Pods, Apple Pods, and every podcast platform out there. For Keith, Mr. Ambassador, I am Jesse. We'll see you next time.
Ambassador, man.
Hail to the team.